All right, welcome back everybody to issue 40, and this is going to be the bonus issue. And so before we get started on this, let's go ahead and bounce over and we'll take a look at the data and the details. All right, here we are with the data and the details of issue 40. So we had one video. We worked on framework and plating, pretty much just framework, but I did do some plating with it. Just the back, the blackout part. Total video length was, record length was 28 minutes and 38 seconds. I had 2 captures for that. Total video time was 23 minutes and 38 seconds video capture time. And the final video came out to 24 minutes. Now, you might be asking, how was the final video 24 minutes when we only had 23 minutes and 38 seconds of videoed footage? Well, first of all, there's a minute added for the intro, so that adds a minute. But that's not the reason. Part of the reason was I didn't count the footage from my other camera. There was an issue with the recording, so the initial part was filmed from the other camera. So that's where the difference kind of gets made up. So there you go. We did 11 screws. We did not do any gluing this time. We did not use any paint. Technically, we used the black for the blackout, so we'll go ahead and put in black for that. And then we don't know what the bonus time was. So there we go. So our single video time was 1 minute, or 1 minute, 24 minutes. Boy, I'm just not with it today. And here's our capture time, 20 minutes and 2 minutes and 49 seconds. So there we go, and that comes out to, we had an extra 5 minutes off camera stuff, no problem. And that's the entire breakdown. Now let's go ahead and have a look at the total stats. I'm going to only do these total stats every so often now instead of every time. We have 59 total videos for just the building. Still 5 videos is the most in any one issue. We're up to 171 captures. We're up to 29 minutes or 29 hours and 41 minutes of video time. We got 40 or 92 total hours of build time. Our average video length is 30 minutes and 11 seconds. Our shortest is 15 minutes and 1 second. Our longest issue is 3 hours and 32 minutes. So there you go. Total of 275 screws. Total of 456 pieces glued. Still only 3 bottles of glue, 3 bottles of primer, and 187 micro brushes. We did use one yesterday when doing the gluing, which I ended up not using, but because I broke a piece when I was messing around. So we had to use one there, so I'll go ahead and save that. All right, that concludes everything in the data and the details, so let's go ahead and kick it back over and see what's in the magazine this month. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you're enjoying those data and details. I say it every time, and I'll continue saying it until somebody says, no, we are not. And then I'll rethink my purpose in life. Just kidding. Here we are. Let's look at the modified Belbullab-22. I think that's what it is. The Soulless 1. This is General Grievous's personal starfighter, and so let's have a look at that. It's only 6.7 meters long. It's a very small starfighter, but it's very fast. Its maximum speed is 1,100 kilometers per hour in atmosphere, so that's pretty good. Hyperdrive is a Class 2, and it's got the toughest hull in the world, or the galaxy, or whatever. So there we go. So Basically, I don't remember him using it too much, other than when he was trying to run away. He may have done a little bit of attacking and stuff during that process because he needed to be able to, you know, open up his avenue of escape. But that's pretty much what I remember seeing him use it for in most situations. Um, by and large, I agree with the Jedi that General Grievous was a big old baby, and he would run the moment it got even remotely looked like there was a remote chance of losing. He would just take off and leave his people there, or his droids for the most part, there, leaderless. And so, didn't take long after that. So let's go ahead and go through this real quick. It's fast and tough. So I had twin ion engines powering the fighter. Like I said, it was really fast. So that was pretty good. It had the Class 2 hyperdrive. Um, it was here. Its tough hull was composed of the strongest alloy plating, and with a thin coating of impervium on top of that. Very similar to unobtainium, I guess. Only the most powerful enemy fire could penetrate it. While Grievous was always cautious, he could afford to plow through the enemy, confident in the Soulless One's ability to deflect and absorb more punishment. Um, so it did have a deflector shield, and it did have life support, although he never used it. It's a good thing that he did have it because um, Obi-Wan was able to use this ship to escape Utapau and Utapau, or whatever you say it. Escape Utapau after the initiation of Order 66, and he was able to, link up with Yoda and all that kind of stuff. So he did a lot of cut and run tactics, so we know that he was a deadly opponent. One of the things was it started off with just um, a single dual set of lasers, and then at some point he got upgraded to a triple rapid fire laser cannons. Um, they were wedged underneath between the hull and the engines, and so there you go. Let's go ahead and look at the um, behind the scenes. So upgunned. When Soulless One was first, uh, when Soulless One first appeared in the Revenge of the Sith, the model of the ship was fitted with powerful triple barrel laser cannons. When an animated version featured in the Clone Wars, it was fitted with less devastating single barrel cannons, although, of course, if Grievous had ordered a weapons upgrade at a later point in the conflict, that could easily account for the difference. So, as we know, um, Revenge of the Sith is at the end, and Clone Wars would have been seen throughout the entire process. So, um, that could easily account for the difference. It was not until it appeared in the Clone Wars that the name of the vehicle was revealed. In an info bubble on the decoded episode of Downfall of a Droid, declared it to be the Soulless One, and also stated that certain Jedi referred to the fighter as the Spineless One, given Grievous's cowardly habit of fleeing the area of a battle when the going got tough. So, yep, the moment it looked like uh, he would have to actually be in a fight and they weren't just going to flat out win, he'd just take off and run. So, there you go. Wildlife of Utapau. I think I went through this last time when we actually discussed this planet. I don't know how to say it. So let's just kind of go through them here. So we have the Varactyl, and this is the Varactyl. That's the one that Obi-Wan rode. It's a non-sentient reptile. It's 3.9 meters high and 15.24 meters in length. Average weight is 1,150 kilograms, and it's a herbivore. So then we have the Dactylian. It's a non-sentient Reptavian, 6 meters high, 24 meters wingspan, and average weight is 1,150 kilograms. It's a carnivore and a scavenger. Then there's the Nos monster. It's a non-sentient reptile, 8 meters long, and it's a carnivore. And then there's the Gintho, which is an arachnid, 2 meters in length, and it's also a carnivore. So I kind of go through that because I'm not going to go through all this. So this is the Fractal, as I mentioned. That's what Obi-Wan rode in Revenge of the Sith. This is the Dactylian, and you can see looks like a clone trooper there riding it. No, there's the rider. I don't know what this white thing is. Maybe it's just supplies or something. Who knows? But so there's that, and then the uh, this one here, the Gintho. That one I don't remember seeing, but basically it talks about how so there was the difference between the Utai and then the Powans. So the Utai tend to be the better wranglers of the planet's larger wildlife. The Powans have developed a relationship with these spider-like creatures. They were able to. The spider-like creatures, like obviously had great silk and super strong, blah blah blah. So that's pretty cool. Then there was um, uh, these Nos monsters or whatever they're called. They were found down um, down in the darkest depths of the planet, down in the sinkholes and the waters and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and do the behind the scenes here. Both the Fractal and the Dactylian were originally envisioned as Jedi mounts. Obi-Wan Kenobi did end up riding Boga, but early concept work featured Ki-Adi-Mundi mounted on a Dactylian. Although he did not end up visiting Utapau in the movie, the designers for both creatures were reminiscent of prehistoric animals that once roamed the earth. Although the Ractal is a herbivore, it looks similar to the Magallenia, a huge carnivorous reptile related to the modern monitor lizard, which could reach a length of 7 meters. The Megalenia lived in Australia during the uh, Pleistocene era, 2.6 million to 11,700 years ago. The Dactylian shares characteristics with large uh, pterosaurs, such as the Quintezellacus and the Hatzergodopedsaurids. Um, these flying creatures lived among the dinosaurs in the Cretaceous era, 145 million to 66 million years ago. So 145 million to 66 million years ago, and had an estimated wingspan of about 12 meters. So obviously, I cannot pronounce the dinosaur names, um, but you guys get the picture. They're based on some stuff that we had in our Earth's past at one point. So there you go. Combat techniques 2: dogfighting. So let's kind of go through these. So they have the jink, and that's just the basic one. That's where you're just randomly moving around and you're up and down and round in circles and just random things. So then they have the break, and that's the break is when it kind of explains here. So the attacker is about to achieve a prime attack position. The defender turns sharply into the direction of the attack and cuts in the reverse thrust. The attacker has time for a quick shot at best, but not a sustained attack. So basically, what happens is you're being pursued, so you turn, so that way it looks like they're going to have a really good attack, and then you're going to hit your brakes, and then they're going to fly right by, and then hopefully you become uh, the aggressor and whatnot. So That's the idea of the break. Then there's a scissors. This combat technique is designed to turn the tables on an attacker and make him into a target. It can only be performed once the attacking fighter has overshot his target. The target must then perform a sharp turn reversal at a matching speed. As if he is too quick, the enemy fighter may end up behind him. As it is performed part of the standard training in the Imperial TIE Fighter, pilot would usually recognize the scissors and play along in the contest, trying to reduce his ship's speed, making his own sharp turn reversal to try and get back behind the Rebel X-Wing. So there's the reverse throttle hop, which is designed to counter a brake and helps the attacking starfighter to stay on target. This is a very difficult combat technique which requires split-second timing and well-honed reflexes. When the opponent brakes, the attacker pulls up above him, decelerates, and then drops back down again behind him. Getting the timing wrong, and the attacker hands the advantage back to the defender. So there you go. The battle spread maneuvers, that's when we have pairs, and you guys can coordinate and work in tandem. So I'm sure that everybody can figure out that there's a lot of different tactics that you can do with the battle spread. One of them is the undersplit. It's another deception-based move. One of the starfighters in the battle pulls out in front of his wingman to lure attacking ships. As they go in for the kill, the wingman slips under unobserved and pulls up hard for a belly shot at the attackers. This is dangerous maneuver for the lead, whose ship must be up for taking some hits. So basically, one's the bait and the other one's the prey type of thing, right? Then there's the Lone Starfighter. This is a deception of one of the ace pilot's greatest weapons, so it is essential to know when to use it against the enemy and recognize it when they are trying to use it against you. Lone Starfighters are seldom that an Imperial fighter pilot learned to bait Rebel fighters by appearing to be flying without support. This was, of course, a trap, and in reality, there was a wingman trailing some distance behind. Once the unsuspecting rebel had been lured behind the first fighter, the wingman would have him in his crosshairs and strike before the rebel could attack. So this is similar to what happened with the Millennium Falcon when, after the destruction of Alderaan, and they ended up getting towed into the uh, what do you call it? The tractor beam towed into the Star Destroyer or the Death Star, excuse me. The feint and the backstab. So yeah, so this is basically Red Flight makes a break, a head-on attack, but turns off before reaching the effective combat range. And then the defenders close, alert for the oncoming attackers. And then the blue flight uses red flight's distraction to close with the enemy undetected. So it's just, different tactics there. That's the feint and the backstab. So let's look at the blue screen. So John Dykstra led the pioneering team that filmed the dogfights in Star Wars, and I've talked about this before here. So he recalled that the motion, size, position, and frames counts of the action sequences were based on examining black and white World War II dogfight footage. So the movie copies real fighter maneuvers closely, using models filmed against a blue screen onto which a background could later be superimposed. U.S. Mustangs were replaced by X-Wing starfighters, and Japanese Zeros were replaced with TIE fighters, firing lasers instead of bullets. The light sky in the original footage became Starscape, and the gray horizon in the background, uh, in the background of the black and white movie, was replaced with the image of the surface of the Star Destroyer. The miniature ships were mounted so that they could roll or yaw about their axis, and crab across the track of the camera, which was placed so that the ship started in the position they began each flying sequence. So there you go. That's how all that was recorded and filmed. That is the end of issue 40. So if you watched the review the other day, we talked about issue 41, what's coming up, and we actually kind of went through what we're going to be doing. So we are going to be building the cockpit, the gun turret controls, the seat and all that kind of stuff. That's going to go for the gun turret, and then but in this issue we'll get the cone that's going to sit in, along with the stickers that go for that. So that's what we're going to be getting next time in issue 41, and we will actually start building the gun turret controls. So that might be some fun and interesting aspect, because there's some pretty small pieces there too, I can tell you that. All right, thank you very much everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and may the force be with you always.